All right, hey everybody, J-Man here with Steve in the Gamma Zone. We're talking some Hulk today. We already discussed our personal feelings about the Hulk, so you can check that video out. We also discussed the first 6 issues of the Incredible Hulk comic book, and then we wanted to we're not gonna go chronological order of Hulk. We're just gonna do whatever we feel like doing, and we decided to talk about Ang Lee's Hulk. This was the first like Hulk movie with like a budget that was in the theater. Obviously, Bill Bixby did 3 television films. There was a pilot and there was a series and all that. But this is where we're talking. We're getting into right now. This is not MCU. Incredible Hulk is MCU. This is not counted as MCU. This is a solo Hulk movie on its own. We're going to discuss it now. My opinions on this when I saw it, and then I rewatched it a bunch of times, and then I rewatched it again a couple of weeks ago. My opinions have always gone up and down. My opinion of the film has remained pretty much the same, but my overall thoughts about it have changed back and forth a few times to where I am today. So, did you see this in the theater, Steve?
I did.
Yeah.
I was living in London at the time, and I saw.
So we did not see it together.
No.
I know Sean saw it with me though.
Yes.
And another friend of mine saw it with me as well. So I don't know how you want to do this. Should we bother doing the story pacing? Should we go through the space?
I mean, we can.
If you want to, just okay. So why don't we do that then? For those out there who don't know space, that's my rating system for movies. When we talk about movies, it's very, very loose. It gives you a score out of 10. It's called space, story pacing, artistry, characters, overall enjoyment. So E is enjoyment. So you get a score of 0, which wasn't that good. 1, which that was good. 2, that was really good. And then when you add that all up, you get a score out of 10. And I'm going to mark our scores as we go.
Yeah.
Boogie board here. All right. So we'll do the space thing, and then we'll add on things as we go. Right.
Yeah.
So
sounds good.
What do you think for the story? What would you give the story on this one?
I give it about a 1.5. I was struggling with 1.5 or 2. Mm-hmm. The thing is that I rewatched this last night.
Yep.
There are elements that don't make like a lot of sense. Like for instance, at the end, General Ross brings David Banner to Bruce Banner, and I'm like, why would he do that?
Yeah, why would he do that? I don't get it.
Makes no sense whatsoever.
He promised him that he would let him see his son or something. It's like, yeah, but why would you? I'm sure he promised him to get him to do whatever, but then it's like, yeah, but I'm not going to do that. Like General Ross doesn't seem like the guy who's like, I'm going to keep my promises. Don't worry, Bruce. I promise not to lock you up after this. Like, okay, I'm not going to believe that. Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, that was really weird. There was it was almost like they're like, let's just get them together. Because there's got to be a confrontation. But it was just weird how they set up. And he's like, I'm doing this for you, Betty. I'm like,
yeah, why?
Why would you throw army resources at this?
Yeah. I'm going to agree with you on 1.5 because, that was a fail. It's almost felt like they're like, if it didn't even feel like that was a conclusion to anything, it felt like that was going to happen in the next movie if there was going to be one. Like it concluded, like Hulk's rage died down. He was with Betty, and then they're kind of like, well, Hulk didn't really fight a guy. Let's have his dad be like the absorbing man or something, and fight at the end. And it was like a little bit tacked on, and you're just like, oh, I almost feel like if you wanted to have this battle take place, you should have edited out a lot of the stuff in between that, get rid of 4 scenes or something, and then have 4 scenes leading up to this battle or something. Because it just felt like, Hulk dies down, he's okay now. Betty's like, oh no, Bruce, and they're there on the streets.
Yeah. And
his rage has subsided, and then it's like, here's his father eating electrical cords. I'm like, what is happening here? Why is this happening right now? It's so weird.
It makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, it's no sense.
He just picks up the cord and he starts biting into it. I'm like, and they're like, hit it. I'm like, did you expect him to do this? And you're like, hey, if he bites the electrical cord, hit the power.
Yeah, that was very weird.
Yeah.
I actually didn't think it was weird when I saw it in the theater. I was like, oh, that's cool. They're gonna fight a guy.
Yeah.
But then, you watch it at home. In the movie theater, you're sitting, you're eating your popcorn, and you got your big screen. It's all dark, and everyone's like, "Whoa, the Hulk!" The Hulk's like beating up guys and smashing stuff. And then you're just like, "Yeah, I want more Hulk. Yeah, oh, he's gonna fight his dad. Yeah, put that in, throw that in there." And it's like, okay. And then you're watching, with a more critical mind, and you're like, "Why is this happening right now?" Like I don't know. It was weird. Yeah, okay. So what about the pacing?
One.
One, yeah. And I'm struggling to even get to one.
One, yeah.
It's slow. I didn't find it slow in the theater. And
Nope.
I rewatched. I own this movie on VHS. I owned it on DVD, and then on Blu-ray. And I haven't done the 4K on it because the Blu-ray seems like it's pretty good. I did do the 4K on Incredible Hulk because I didn't have the Blu-ray of Incredible Hulk.
Right.
And the 4K comes with the Blu-ray, so I just
Yeah.
got that, and then that, But in any case, well, that's a separate video. But it's very slow. It starts out promising, and we'll get to that in the art, but it's okay, and then all of a sudden it just kind of like dips, and you're just like, oh God, nothing's happening, and it's like, Banner, his father, and I'm like, guys, we get it.
Yeah.
He's messed up. We need to edit this out big time. What's the length of this movie?
2 hours and 18 minutes.
That is outrageous.
Yeah. Yeah.
That needs to be.
We got?
Yeah, that needs to be 20 minutes. Hulk needs to be under 2 hours.
Yeah.
Like big time, because Hulk is still primarily an action character.
Yeah.
He's dumb. So you want to see him smash stuff. Hulk is like Godzilla, small scale.
Yeah.
Godzilla films, like the first American Godzilla, sorry, not the first American Godzilla, the second American Godzilla, the 2014 Godzilla, that was way too long as well. It's like these movies where it's monster battling monster, War of the Gargantuas or something.
Yeah.
Like, this needs to be like 90 minutes. Like, why is Hulk longer? But we'll get to this in the overall speak as to why it's that long. But yeah, the pacing is tough. It's tough.
It's tough. I did time how long he was actually Hulk in the movie.
Oh, interesting.
So it was over 30 minutes.
Wow, 30 minutes of Hulk action?
Yeah. There was over 30 minutes. Now, there was stuff where it'd be like Hulk was doing stuff, then they would cut to Ross. And I didn't stop it at that point. Like, I didn't do it to when he's on screen. I decided to do it to how long is he actually Hulk?
Right, whether we see him or not.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I felt that over 30 minutes for an origin story was reasonable.
Yep.
So that's why I went to a 1. That's what literally fueled me to a 1.
Okay.
But otherwise, it would have been lower because it does, there's all this stuff. And then, I don't know, man. Betty's in this movie a lot. I didn't realize that the first time. There's scenes. I was surprised how many scenes there were that took place without Bruce Banner or the Hulk in it. She goes to see his father, and that takes a while. And she's talking to her dad. She's having lunch with her dad. I'm like, why is Betty in this so much? Because when you read the comics, she's not in anything.
Yeah,
she's hardly in anything. Yeah. So I'm like, was this we got Jennifer Connelly, we got to write a bunch of scenes for her? What the hell?
I do. Well, we'll get to the characters at that point. But yeah, there is a lot of and there's her and Glenn Talbot, and then it's okay, well then and then she goes to have dinner with her father, and it's I know, we get it. Bruce is messed up. This movie's called Hulk, only Hulk.
Yeah.
And it seems like they're going for, I understand they want to develop every character. We'll get to that in characters. It's the pacing is just being murdered here.
Yeah.
You can tell the same, we get that her and her father are not on good terms.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to have, a scene to prove it, and then another scene to prove it, and then another pops in. It's Dad, you said you were going to do this. It's oh, we get it. They're not on good terms. We don't need so many scenes for that.
I agree.
Okay, so what about the art?
So
the look of it, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, this one I struggled with a lot because I'm not one of those people who was a lot of people thought the Hulk looked bad in this movie. I don't agree with that at all.
No.
I am giving it a 1.5 only because the first few scenes with the Hulk are very dark. When he's in the lab, it's very dark. When he's fighting dogs, it's that night. We don't really get to see Hulk clearly until the latter half of the film. And for me, that's a bit of a fail, because you should have your character out there. Like, I'm tired of this, and they did this. Well, I won't get into Incredible Hulk, but I will say this. It's kind of like what they did with him in the factory in Incredible Hulk. We're like, well, we don't want to reveal the Hulk. We know what the Hulk looks like. He's been around since 1962.
Yeah.
Just show us the Hulk, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we paid the money for. He's on the poster, right? Like, Eric Bana's not on the poster. Jennifer Connelly's not on the poster. Hulk is the only guy on the poster. So give me Hulk.
Yeah, I'm good with 1.5. I'm almost at a 2. The only reason I would go 2 versus 1.5 is that you do see a lot of Hulk.
Yeah.
Proper Hulk. I like the way Hulk looks in this, actually.
Yeah.
I like the green color that he is. I like the purple pants.
Yeah.
And I like the comic book panel style. Just because it was so unique.
Yeah.
And I think the artistry of this is the strong point. Like, it looks neat. So I was going to do 1 on story, and you got me to 1.5. You're going to do 1.5. Can I get you to 2?
Yeah, you probably can. I mean,
just to make it like, so I don't have to do two columns.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because let me convince you. The thing is, we've never seen anything done like that, and we still haven't. This is a very unique movie for that.
Yeah.
It's a comic book movie, and it's telling you it's a comic book movie because it's doing panels and flipping and doing. I like that a lot. I think that's very strong. Hulk looks cool. I agree. Dark in the lab in the beginning, I'm okay with that because we haven't seen him yet. He's just transforming. After that, the dogs, it is slightly dark. Now, on my TV, on Blu-ray, I can see it clearly, and it's fine. It's just a scene at night, but not a scene where I can't see. But obviously, the clearer you can make it, the better it is.
Yeah.
So that scene is where it's like, ooh, I wish it was a little bit. Like the lab scene, he runs around. This is a movie thing. They don't want to show him right away. Could be a budgetary thing as well. They don't have enough to keep showing the Hulk so many times. So I'm okay. Even the factory in Incredible Hulk, I'm less okay with the factory scene only because we've already had this other movie. Right? Like, now we know what, and if you didn't know what Hulk looked like, you saw Hulk, the first movie. The second one, you can definitely see him. But that was going for a different angle, which we can get to when we can talk about that movie at another time. But yeah, so anyways, I think it looks awesome. I can kind of forgive the laboratory for sure. The dogs, I wish it would have been a little bit, but I think because they had 4 CGI creatures. Yeah. It's like Godzilla, they try to make it at night so they can kind of mask. Yeah. The dogs don't hold up nearly as well. Yeah. Like, they're like, I can see that they're kind of fake, right? Yeah, It's still 2003, I think. Yeah, it's 2003. So, we're going to give it props for at least having Hulk fight 3 CGI creatures. That's pretty neat. Yeah. So I think the artistry is strong. I think, 90% holds up today. Yeah. All right, so let's get into the characters. I don't know what to rate this. I've been struggling. So I think we got to talk it out with each character. Yeah. And that will help us decide. I'm just, okay. So, let's go with General Ross. He was the best. He's the best. He was perfect. He's perfect. Yeah. Like, that's outrageous. He's perfect. But Sam Elliott is the only one, I looked at Wikipedia, he's the only one I read who went back to the comics. Oh, interesting. So, to get the look right and to get the character right. So Sam Elliott is the best representation of the comics in that movie, hands down, and he's awesome anyway. Yeah, he's awesome. Yeah, okay, so that's an easy one. Yeah. Okay, well, he's not Major Talbot. He's, I guess, scientist Glenn Talbot. Is that? Well, he's a former Major, right? Oh, right, he's a former Major. Yeah, he doesn't, okay, so, I don't know. He's terrible. Yeah, I don't know. Because I've been reading So I read a Hulk comic every day now to try to catch up to where you're at, and I'm into the tales with him and Submariner now, and yeah, like Talbot's pretty cool. Like he's
Yeah.
He's hardcore, man. He's a go getter.
Yeah.
And I just felt that they try to make him this like slimy ex-boyfriend, and I'm like, eh.
Yeah, he's terrible. He should work under Ross. He should still be part of the army. They did get it that he was sort of pumped up for Betty,
Yeah,
but that's the only element they got right. They needed to get another character, maybe in Marvel, but outside Hulk, to play the slimy industrialist, or just make a new character. Like,
yeah.
they, Talbot doesn't fit in there, and he's just basically a punching bag for Hulk. It was bad. Like, the characters serves better than that, so it was probably the worst representation in the movie.
Yeah, he's the worst, and I don't like. I would have preferred to not have him than to have what we got.
Yeah.
Because it's not serving the character well.
No.
Also, it's like, is he really supposed to be some kind of antagonist to Hulk? Like, it's like,
Yeah, he's nothing.
I'm gonna drill you. It's like, buddy, we know that's not gonna work. Like, any layman is gonna, like, if you just shot him with like guns and like, you know, firearms and like, you know, and you can see that he's not getting hurt, why would you think you're gonna like capture him in this foam and drill him? Now, that stuff that they used to subdue him was in the comics. Like,
Yeah.
they had all that stuff in the comics, but it didn't work there. Now we're seeing it in the movie, so you know it's not going to work. But I don't know. I just felt that Talbot was just like, if you removed him, there'd be no difference.
No, there'd be no gap.
It's
Like, he
okay,
served no purpose. They
he's-
tried to have him like, yeah, he's trying to be an antagonist. He failed. Like, he's a non-entity in that movie.
Yeah, and even against Bruce, like Betty, at this point, Betty has had a relationship with Bruce, but has broken up,
Mm-hmm.
and she Talbot is trying to get in, but it's like, well, she ain't gonna go with that guy. Like, I didn't even feel that there was a chance of that happening. So
Yeah.
it was just,
Yeah.
yeah. So he's bad. Okay. What about, okay, so how about Betty?
You know what's hilarious is she's way better than she is in the comics. Like,
way better.
she is intelligent.
Yeah.
She's driven. Like, Jennifer Connelly just knocks it out of the park. Like, she made that character way better than it had any right to be.
Oh, big time. First of all, I'm like a major Jennifer Connelly
Yeah.
fan. Like, first ever crush.
Yeah.
Hasn't gone away yet. She looks better now than she did.
I know. She there's a picture of her somewhere that looks terrible. She's a portrait of Dorian Gray.
Yes, we figured it out. We're on to you, Jennifer Connelly. We are on to you. We're gonna find that painting. We're taking you down. We know what you've done. She looks the same.
Yeah.
If you do the, like, if you just do her face, it's like, okay, she looks slightly older or whatever. But like, even in the like, if you do 20 years of Jennifer Connelly, it's the same picture.
I know.
It's like she ages in 20-year increments. Like, when she's 20, in career opportunities, okay, she looks one way. It's like Labyrinth, career opportunities, and then after that, she looks the same from that point on.
Yeah.
But she was way better. I actually cared about Betty. I liked Betty. I wanted her to be happy, right? And it could be that it was Jennifer Connelly, and I'm gonna like her and everything anyways. Even when she's the bad guy in that Battle Angel Alita, I was like, oh, she's awesome. But like, yeah, I like her, but she was really good.
Yeah, she was really good.
She was really good. All right, so how about Eric Bana?
This is hard because I like Eric Bana. I like Eric Bana as an actor, and I think he did the best job he could in this. I don't think he's suited for Bruce Banner. I don't think they gave him a lot to work with.
No.
And he was Hector in Troy. This guy, like, Bruce Banner needs to be a wimpy little guy, scrawny, who looks like he can't do anything. The only thing he has is his mind. What's that?
Edward Norton.
Yes. Edward Norton is perfect.
Perfect.
As Bruce Banner.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in the other movie. It's almost like they reversed everybody.
I know.
Movie. Like, everyone who was awesome became crap, and everyone who was like whatever became awesome.
Yeah.
We need to, we'll cast the perfect Hulk movie after. Okay, but yeah, Eric Bana is a great actor. Hector in Troy is the best
Yeah.
character, like
Yeah.
easy. And I don't think they made Banner like, it's more like he's got these like, mental problems rather than, just being a nerdy scientist who's trying to like cure himself. And I don't know.
Yeah, it was off the mark. It felt bad. It felt like he had a lot of stuff where he's just like, like his face is wobbling, and I'm like, what's he doing? Like, has he got gas? Like, what's going on?
You're making me angry. Like, that's not how I get angry. Like, it's weird. It was very weird. And I don't know, like, I just didn't get what was going on. Maybe this goes back to the story a bit, but like, I just didn't get what was happening. It's like, okay, you've got mental problems. All right. Well, I don't know. I don't want to say get over it, but like, how are you such a scientist then? Like, it doesn't seem like if you had all these mental problems and you couldn't, function in society, like, how did you become so great? But he repressed them and then bringing them all back or whatever. And you're like, okay, well, I guess, I mean, I don't know. It didn't feel like Bruce Banner to me. It was just like, this guy, he's Bruce Banner because we're calling him Bruce Banner, but it doesn't feel like that's the comic book Bruce Banner.
No, not at all. And he was just like, I don't know, like that whole reveal at the end where it's like the memory he repressed, you could figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, it was obvious what happened. And I'm like, okay, why are we leading up like an hour and 40 minutes or whatever the hell it was to that? Like, that was pretty bad.
That's the pacing issue.
Yeah.
The reveal, it's like, oh, his mom was killed. And, oh, this was like 2 hours to tell me that? Like,
yeah.
Like, if you took the exact same movie, kept all the action, and made it 90 minutes, like kept the artistry of it, kept the action parts with Hulk, stripped it all down, and got rid of the end scene with the father, like whatever, and just omitted that. It's like, and it was 90 minutes, then it's perfect because Hulk looks cool. He fights a few monsters. It looks like a comic book.
Yeah.
I think characters were at 1 out of 2 because we like
it has to be. And the reason why is because, and we didn't talk about Nolte, but like, it's got to be a 1 because Bruce Banner is the main character in the movie. If he sucks, it just automatically, if it's hovering between 2 ratings, it's got to go to the lowest one.
Yeah.
Right. And that's how I feel. I really liked Nolte as the villain. He was awesome. He seemed to understand the movie he was making.
Mm-hmm.
And David Banner wasn't that great a character in the comics.
Right.
And Nolte elevated him again, like along with that theme you mentioned.
Yeah, Nick Nolte just being crazy is awesome. He does feel out of place. Let's get into enjoyment now, because this is going to be weird, because I feel that this movie is pretty good and it's worth a watch for the artistic value, but it's not really Hulk.
Yeah.
This is Hulk for somebody who knows what the Hulk is and wants to see a hyper dramatized, artistic film. Like, this is an Ang Lee movie. It's like Crouching Tiger and all that. It's like Crouching Tiger is not a kung fu flick.
Yeah.
Right? He made Crouching Tiger, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
It's not a kung fu flick. It's a drama. It's a heavy drama with kung fu elements to kind of get me into it. Like, oh, that was a cool fight. Same with Hulk. This is a heavy drama.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's received somewhat okay, but people aren't dying over it because I think it's not hitting the target.
Yeah.
The target audience is for Hulk is people who want to see Hulk smash.
Yeah.
They don't want it to be dumb.
Yeah.
This movie, and it's different than Hulk and than Incredible Hulk. Both these movies, Hulk and Incredible Hulk, took the comics and the TV series different portions. This movie took all of the drama and the
Mm-hmm.
heavy, the sadness of Banner, and this is just awful. They took all that heavy stuff and really emphasized that and threw in some Hulk stuff. Where the other movie took the spirit of the show and the comics and added more actiony things and a big creature at the end and the city's being destroyed,
Yeah.
But this movie doesn't. This movie feels less like the comics and more of a television series dramatization. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like there's so much drama, and that's what takes up this whole movie. Oh, Bruce, what's wrong with you? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Banner, you've got that in your mind. It's like, oh, you're suppressing it. You know what he did, and it's like, just tell him. Like, it's like obviously he can't remember. Like,
Yeah.
I remember. Well, your father killed your mother and then tried to like kill you or whatever. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
like there. That dramatic scene is over now. Now let's get to fighting.
I think the problem is that Ang Lee wanted to make his movie with the Hulk in it instead of making a Hulk movie,
Yes.
right? And this is where, on a side note, a lot of people want these auteurs to like make mainstream movies, like they want Tarantino to make a Star Trek.
Right.
I don't want that because Tarantino can't make a Star Trek movie, in my opinion. That would be a Tarantino movie.
Right.
Like, you would just lose too many of the fans. Like, and I feel it's the same way here. Like, Ang Lee is like, depending on how you think about him, some people think he's a great director. Some people think he's okay. I'm sort of more of the okay than the great, but I haven't seen a lot of Ang Lee movies. A lot of the stuff he makes, I just don't have much of an interest in.
Yep.
But this is what happens when you do that. When you let one of these guys who's like, I'm going to make my movie, but I want Hulk.
Yeah.
Right? And he did give me Hulk. He gave me over half an hour of Hulk. So I can't really be like pissed at him, But at the same time, you watch this now, you realize this is not really a Hulk movie. There are a lot of elements of Hulk in it.
For sure. Visual elements, the leaping, the whole desert sequence, using all he put comic book stuff in it.
Yeah.
Like, there's stuff in it where you're like, yes, that was in the comics.
Yeah.
And he also made the panels. Like, he's giving comic book panels. And the Hulk is leaping around, and when he's fighting the military, it's like, General Ross is awesome. Betty's good. He gave her a character. He gave her some importance.
Yeah.
And he redid the origin in a more, like contemporary way to say, like, obviously if you get hit by gamma rays, you just die or whatever, right?
Right.
Obviously, well, he was experimented on, and this is why the gamma radiation unlocked all this stuff, and
Yeah.
So that's cool, but yeah. So I'm gonna give it a 1 for enjoyment because I still like it. Because if we don't give it a 1, it's gonna go under 5. So I'm gonna say 1 to make it a 6.5 out of 10. Do you think that's fair? Do you think that's fair?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I want to give it higher because I actually like this movie, and I really like this movie. It's just not a Hulk movie.
Yeah.
It's like it's a Hulk movie made for people that don't know what Hulk is, it's trying to be. I don't want to say it's trying to be highbrow, and because I hate this idea that comics are for idiots or whatever. Because I'm reading comics every day. Right. I love comic books. I think they're a valid form of entertainment. I think they're a valid form of storytelling. I think they can be important, and I think they are important. They're artistic, all that stuff. And Ang Lee honored that in his own way, which is all you can ask from a director. He honored the comics, the characters, but did his own thing.
Right.
Which I don't want to, piss on and say, don't do that.
Right.
But on the other hand, I also have to evaluate this as a lifelong Incredible Hulk fan.
Yeah.
Who read comics, watched the show, the whole thing, watched the TV movies. I love Lou Ferrigno anyways. Lou Ferrigno and Stan Lee are in
the security guards at the beginning.
And actually Lou Ferrigno's voice is used in the next film for the Hulk feature, which I think is an absolute awesome thing to do. That's great. But yeah, like, you got to evaluate this as like a movie and a Hulk movie. And as a movie, it's over dramatized because the outcome is like, oh, his father was just crazy and he killed his mom. It's like, well, I don't care. And it's like, that's obvious. There should have been something more to it, if you're going to over dramatize it. And as a whole, so it's like a not too bad drama movie, and it's a so-so Hulk movie. So how do I evaluate this, right? And I don't want to say 5 out of 10 because that seems slightly unfair, because
Yeah.
the value and the music is great too.
Yeah. Danny Elfman did it.
The music's great. It looks cool. Hulk looks neat. He gets bigger.
Yeah.
He gets bigger and bigger and bigger, right?
He continues to mutate, which
yeah.
goes back to my idea from a couple of videos ago where we do Gray Hulk, and that's how he transitions to Green Hulk, is he continues to mutate.
Yeah.
So that idea was good. I'll be honest with you, I was almost sliding to 1.5 on this one. I really like Hulk a lot. I really like Nolte's a good adversary.
Mm-hmm.
They did really good with the father character, way more than they had any right to.
Yeah.
The father character does have powers at the end. He's sort of like an absorbing man, Zach's amalgamation. Betty is way more awesome than I could ask her to be. There are problems. You're absolutely right. The over dramatization is terrible. It just takes too long. The Talbot character is ruined, and Banna doesn't really suit. Like Banna doesn't. I almost got that mixed up. Banner doesn't suit Banner. Banner doesn't suit Banner, but he's not horrible. Like I didn't look at him like they didn't cast Schwarzenegger as Banner, so that's why I was like 1.5. I think it was a pretty decent outing, and I think 3.5 out of 5 to me sounds like the best rating for this movie. Like this, the perfect rating.
All right, so let's go 7 out of 10. I'm with you. I'm with you because I do enjoy this movie.
Yeah.
And if people start to, poo on it, this is a weird thing for me. If people hate something that I kind of like if I love something, it's weird. If I love something and people hate it, I don't care.
Right.
Right? It's weird. If I kind of like something but people hate it, I'm more critical. I'm like, why don't you like this? Because it's like, I'm always looking at it from the point of view of like, who are you when you're talking about this movie? If Sean, who's not part of our Gamma Zone talk, I think Sean likes this movie, thinks it's okay. He'd probably say 7 out of 10 is okay, maybe, whatever.
Yeah.
So that's fine because I know Sean knows what he's talking about. If you have a generic person who's like, oh, this movie sucks, and it's like, why? Well, whatever. And it's like, and then I'm like, you know what? Well, you don't know anything. This movie's great.
Yeah.
It's almost like I become more the movie becomes more favorable to me, even though critically I know that, it's a 7. But if you start pissing on it and you're a guy who doesn't know anything, I'm like, screw you, this movie's awesome. You don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, how did it go from 7 to 10 out of 10 when it,
Yeah.
It's like if you have like the comic book nerds, they're like, well, Hulk, this isn't really accurate and Talbot was ruined. You're like, yes, I agree with you.
Yeah.
But like a layman should still enjoy this movie because of the drama is still not bad, right?
Yeah.
Like, if I don't know if what my mom, I always throw my mom in there because she doesn't know anything about comics. She knows a little bit through me, obviously. But if my mom had watched this, like my mom loves the Spider-Man movies, the Tobey Maguire ones, actually, all 3.
Oh, really?
He doesn't see the negatives of part 3. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that guy's kind of neat. It's like, well, they ruined it because he's supposed to be, this.
Yeah.
Sandman. It's like, no, well, she's not. She doesn't care.
She doesn't care. Yeah.
Right. So just as a movie, it's like, and even my wife, she thought part 3 is okay. Like she's like, oh, as good as 1 and 2. Everyone loves part 2. But Hulk, same thing. It's like you should watch it. A generic person should watch it and thought, hey, that's pretty good. It's like, wow, that was a lot more serious than I thought a Hulk would. Like, I think people going into this movie thinking, oh, it's going to be a stupid Hulk movie where he fights a bunch of guys.
Yeah.
Would be surprised to be like, wow, there's a lot of depth in this. It's like this emotional thing, and that's Ang Lee adding all that, and the artistry and everything. So for us comic book guys and not just comic book guys, but movie nerds, movie nerds were like, wow, this is over dramatized. We get it. This isn't a shocker. We know what's going on already. This movie can be 2 hours easy. You can easily trim 20 minutes without even thinking about it. You could trim half an hour, really. And you'd still have the same movie. Well, you'd have a better movie because the pacing would go way up. but I think a generic person might be like, wow, that was pretty good. I thought that was a lot better than what I thought it was going to be. So yeah, I mean, overall it's neat. I mean, I keep buying it. I've watched it a bunch of times. But yeah, as a Hulk movie, especially now that we've seen so much Hulk, like
Yeah.
this is all we had besides the Lou Ferrigno television series. And Lou Ferrigno was great, but we never had the level of destruction. Like he would transform into Hulk, maybe throw a guy or punch a guy or break something, and you
Yeah.
go, oh, oh, and it's like that would be enough to scare people, and they would either run off or he'd, pick up a tractor and throw it or something.
Yeah.
And you're like, that was as cool as it really got. But now you have like pretty good high levels of destruction in the Hulk. They never
Yeah.
could do the leaping in the show, really. Like
No.
show the leaping abilities of Hulk. It's like, this movie had all of that. So it was great to see that on the screen. You're just like, wow. It's like this movie, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, the 89 Batman.
Yeah.
Even I would go with the Christopher Reeve Superman.
Yeah.
Like when you see these movies for the first time, you're like, oh my God, like there's Hulk and he's in the purple pants.
Yeah.
He's friggin' throwing tanks around and like busting the cities up and, smashing cars. You're like, whoa, and then this is why John Carpenter has said this for Escape from New York on an interview. He's like, when you watch a movie, you watch it, that's it. He goes, come back, review it, come back again. 10 years later, make your decision.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Because, when I saw Independence Day in the theater, I just literally thought this was one of the greatest movies ever made. And then I watched it on VHS. I'm like, this is horrendously awful. It's like 3 out of 10. Why did I like this garbage movie? And because in the theater, you're seeing the White House blow up. And you're seeing, holy crap, and then you calm down, right? And you go back, you're like, oh God, this movie is boring.
Yeah.
Like, that's what happened with Hulk. You watch it in theater, like, oh my God, Hulk just destroyed stuff. And Jennifer Connelly's the prettiest girl ever. And you're like, yeah, it's like, this is the best movie. And you watch it again, like, wow, nothing happens for like an hour. You're like, it's like, no, Talbot, you're not getting Jennifer Connelly. Like, walk away. Like,
No one's getting.
No one's.
We still don't know how Paul Bettany got her. We're still trying to figure that out.
Yeah, Paul Bettany knows where the painting is. We're on to you, Paul Bettany. We are on to you. I like Paul Bettany.
Yeah, I do too.
I like Master and Commander. He was great in that. Okay, anyways.
Yeah, he's good.
And he's Vision, who's awesome.
Yeah.
But take people destroying this movie that's not warranted. Nobody's. I don't think anyone's really praising it, but there are people who are like, oh, it sucks and it's so boring and it's crap. It's like, those people, it's like, firstly, you have to have been there for when this came out and to have like a Hulk movie of this level of quality of like the effects and everything. But also it's held up okay. I wasn't going up at it. Like, the dogs looked a little bit, CGI
weird.
Weird. The endings is slightly weird with like absorbing. The fight was kind of a non-fight. They're just they're just like hugging and I don't know. It was just
like he basically absorbs into the mountain and then Hulk throws the mountain, which I'm like, did Hulk just throw a mountain? Like I don't understand.
Yeah, but then he becomes water.
Like, then he becomes water. But like the problem is that like at the end, I didn't quite understand what happened. Like he took the gamma out of Hulk, and then he became like, I don't know, like a character out of Metroid. Like he was a blob or a globe or something, and then they just shot the globe, and it was like in the globe was like pictures of like, it was weird, man. I was just like, Hulk has done some weird stuff in the comics, but this is pretty damn weird.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Hulk won, and then he's in the rainforest or something at the end. And I'm like, okay, well, Hulk won. I don't know. Well, what do you think was going to happen? Hulk's going to win. You know that. I have no idea what he did. Yeah, if you start getting weird shit like that in there, it's like this like metaphysical or whatever. Like, I don't like, okay, well, how can Hulk punch water or whatever? I just didn't understand what was happening. I know, I didn't understand what was happening. It's a little bit, so we're kind of between 6 and 7. It's either a six
Yeah.
and a half or a 7. I mean, we could stick with 7 just as the final because,
Yeah.
just to be a little bit more positive because we did have positive experiences watching it.
Yeah.
And I still think it's a neat movie.
Well, I bought it on 4K. This is like one of my 4K purchases. Like I bought it on DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K.
And I would definitely get the 4. I would consider getting the 4K on it as
Yeah.
well, if I see it for cheap or whatever. It's only because I already had the Blu-ray and I was really trying to be like, I gotta cherry pick what I'm getting, and I'm like, well, Incredible Hulk. I don't even have. I should have all the MCU. Yeah, I should have all the MCU movies on Blu-ray.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have Incredible Hulk, and I only had it on DVD. So I'm like, well, I'm not gonna buy a Blu-ray when the 4K was literally cheaper.
Yeah.
Blu-ray anyways.
Exactly.
But yeah, so yeah, I mean, I guess we can wrap up there. I mean, yeah, Hulk, Ang Lee, beautifully shot and made movie. A lot of drama, a lot of people looking sad. It's like, oh Bruce, you're dead. What happened? It's like, and then Bruce is like, I don't know. A lot of like, I can't do it. It's like, why is he? That was so weird. It's like, just get angry. Like, like why is he like trembling? He's like, whoa, you're making.
Yeah. Talbot, you're making me angry. I'm like, wouldn't you just be angry? Why are you telling him that? Like, just be angry.
Like that, I know. I don't understand. Yeah, why are we? It's like I do like the line. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
I'm angry. Yeah.
That's genius.
Yeah.
That's genius. That's a great way to end it. And they did it in subtitles, which is funny too.
Yeah.
Really like that. But yeah, you don't say it's like, you're really getting me angry. Wouldn't you just get angry? You're really making me laugh. Ha 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 ha. It's like nobody says that. Well, I think that's like it's like, why are you telling me what emotion you're feeling? Is that?
Yeah. Like Talbot's kicking his ass in the thing. I think it's given that you're getting angry. Like I've never had my ass kicked and I didn't feel anything other than angry.
I'm fine. I'm totally fine. It's good. Are you angry? No. I'm totally good. I'm quite good. Like really, he should come and beat him up. Hulk goes, and then just like, why is he like, Talbot, making me angry? It's like, oh, sorry about that. Okay, well, I'm not angry anymore. I apologize. You accept my apology? He's like, sure. All right, I guess that'll be that for Hulk. Next thing, let us know in the comments what you thought of the movie. What's your rating? Also, if you have a topic about Incredible Hulk of any kind, if you want us to talk about it, let us know in the comments. We're not doing this chronologically. I don't know. I think we're going to try to do. I'd like to do Tales. Mm-hmm. Tales to Astonish has a lot of issues to it because I think he started in issue 59.
Yeah.
Like 101 or 102.
Yeah.
We'll break that up into sections because there was the section where it was him and Ant-Man or Giant Man, and then it was him and Namor. Even that might be into two sections because there's a lot. We'll see. I'll see how I feel about when I read it. Like we can definitely break it up into at least two sections. Like the leader stuff maybe, and then the after stuff. Yeah. Leader plays heavily in the Tales to Astonish stuff. But anyway, that's it for the movie. So yeah, let us know what you think, guys. Give us your rating of Incredible Hulk 2000 or Hulk 2003 Ang Lee. Let us know what you gave it out of 10 and why. Let us know why you gave it that and what your thoughts were. Anything else, Steve?
No, I'm good.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. See ya.